All right, Quasar Markets Live. We have had a lot of guests, but this one I'm super excited to introduce to you. Hank Hudson, Roxham TV. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, Steven. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to finally return the favor. You always do such great work on our show, so I'm happy to join yours for once.
You know, I love it. I got to meet you at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. And one of the cool things is I've always said that we need a Bitcoin channel that is dedicated toward Bitcoin and people that actually understand Bitcoin. So I'm going to back it up a little bit. Hank, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about Roxham TV and what's going on over there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, lifelong creative professional here. I started my journey back at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Go Badgers. I was a Second City guy in Chicago for a while. I was doing a lot of onstage performing and shows there and, excuse me, some commercials and stuff. And my first job, I was a bike tour guide in the city while I was doing the performing, which was very cool. I became a licensed drone operator. I've been flying drones for 10 years. And then I got into kind of real estate creative directing in LA for about 7 years because of my drone stuff that I was doing. And then I moved up to the Bay a couple years ago. I got involved with Roxham. They were looking for a host. I used to do that for this big sports website in Chicago. Rest in peace, Rant Sports. But so they hired me here. I had to go through, interviews and screen tests and all that stuff. And I apparently tricked them. And now we've been at Roxham for a year, and it's going great. Providing hopefully a little more accessible Bitcoin content to the masses, because you and I know how important Bitcoin is going to be in the future, but it's still really intimidating to a lot of people, and not everybody is for the kind of financial news. So I think they brought me in, and I'm kind of hoping to make it a little more accessible to people and just show them hey, this is important, So we're trying our best.
I tell you, I am so jealous of you because you were at Second City. I think, tell us a little bit about Second City, man. I think everybody wants to hear about that.
It's a famed comedy institution. I'm a Chicago guy. I grew up only a couple miles away from it, so I was going to shows as a kid. And you got Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, or I don't know if Amy Poehler I think was actually a different one, but yeah, it was like Steve Carell, Colbert, Farley, Bill Murray, all the biggest names are from there. So that was a place I had to go. And I was never a performer or anything, but I took like one for fun class in college of like an acting course. And I think he might've been a little drunk, but I was a bartender in college. And one night after the semester over, my teacher stumbles into my bar and he goes, come here. And he pulls me close and he goes, whatever it is, you got it. And I go, what? And he just said, you got to do it, man. You got to do the on-screen camera stuff. And I was like, I do? And he's like, okay, yeah, do it. So then I went to Second City and that, learned a lot from some really talented people and kind of got my feet wet. And then, like anything else, you're just kind of building your career, one commercial, one opportunity, one movie at a time kind of a thing. And,
it's interesting, Hank, when I hear these stories, and people always ask me, what's the number one thing for you, Big B? What is it that you've always told people to do? It's get a mentor. Man, looking at you, look at all the things you've done, man. I love that stuff.
It's been being a creative is like there's no straight path. You're just kind of generally trying to find more things that get you in that general direction. And I'm just a man of a lot of interests, and you're not gonna stop those. So I still fly my drone on the weekends, and I've flown it all over the world, and from Asia to Europe to here in the States. So. I like to have my hands in a lot of different pies because the flavor of life, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, when I first saw you, I was like, oh, God, I got to go say hello to that guy. I try to stay under the radar when I'm at the Bitcoin conference because, sometimes when you have the big B, the big look, and you, of course, when I look at that side of things and I'm walking through and there's this bigger than life Hank, how do you portray that in real life? I mean, how's your personal home life? Like, what do you do to get away from all the nuttiness of what we're doing with the crypto side of things?
Oh, I'm a big sports guy. So like my Chicago Bears, first place Chicago Bears right now. I'm really into that. And I'm always working on creative projects. I actually work as a creative director. I have my own production company. So I've got some big clients here that I work with on the side. I don't know if you're familiar with the Millennium Tower here in San Francisco, the leaning one. Yeah, they actually hired me here a year ago as an ongoing like creative consultant. So I've been helping with the rebrand of that. It's not sinking, by the way. It is safe to live in, and some other big projects here in San Fran. So I've always got a lot of things. I'm spinning a lot of plates all at one time. But this opportunity at Roxham to get back on camera again and full time was just too good to pass up. So I'm kind of juggling them all at the same time.
Yeah, it's great, and I think that a lot of people don't realize that those of us in the in this world of crypto and stocks and options and fintech and futures and all this fun stuff, that we actually have a real life. We're not
Yeah.
just we're not just these people that you see talking heads. We have
No.
families and life, and we live the same life that they do. All right, let's get to it.
Yeah.
Roxham TV. How exciting,
Mhm.
man. Tell us a little bit about Roxham TV and what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah, so we're, Bitcoin is becoming a very important part of today's world, and people are still very much kind of asleep to it. For the longest time, people were calling cryptos and Bitcoin Ponzi's or scams or whatever. When we both know that couldn't be further from the truth. And Roxham is really trying to bring this message of the new financial frontier to the masses. And we're doing that through having tons of amazing different programs where there's kind of a little bit for everybody. Like my show, again, at the Blockchain Report, we try to keep it a little more fun, a little more accessible. I'm always aiming to kind of be like the daily show of daily finance and world news is kind of the ideal spin that I'm always looking for. But we have other great shows too. One of my particular favorites, The Great Awakening. It's with one of our other amazing hosts, Nolan Bowerly, who is just such an amazingly intelligent guy I always say he's kind of like, if you've ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's this meme that came out of it where Charlie is on this corkboard connecting the dots like some kind of crazy investigator. And Nolan is like that, but he actually knows what he's talking about. So he's got a great show. And we also have offices doing shows in London and Hong Kong right now. So we're aiming to be this 24 hours entertainment Bitcoin World News Network that is more in line with how media is going today. Traditional legacy media, people are kind of shying away from because there's an innate distrust there with these big institutions. And we're trying to kind of break that up and give people an alternative source for the new media landscape that we're kind of entering right now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring the page onto the show here. So, look, folks, it's Roxham ROXOM.TV. I'll put it up there so everybody can see that. You just click on that link there as well. And of course, Hank, and you got the great Victor keeping you in line over there. I love it. And Olivia. What a great team you guys have. It's exciting to see a team that you guys have.
It is. We have a lot of people who have done some really amazing things in a lot of different forums. Like our co-founder, Borja, he was one of the co-founders of Lemon Cash, which I think is the biggest, if not one of the biggest, cryptocurrency exchanges in all of South America. So he's just absolutely, so smart and he's got his good finger on the pulse of things. His wife, Olivia, also comes from a media backed family, and so she comes in with a lot of knowledge. And then they've just done such a good job of pulling all these amazing Bitcoiners and entertainers from all over the globe, and they're bringing us all together to kind of outfit for, again, this new era of media. People no longer trust those bigger institutions. They trust people, and that's why we've seen the rise of social media and TikTok influencers blowing up, because this is a lot easier to trust than this with all of this behind us, right? That's controlled by like bigger money. So yeah, they've done an amazing job with that. And, we've got technicians who used to be working for ESPN and all these other amazing companies. So they've really put an all-star team together, and it's just really an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah, one of the cool things about us at Quasar Markets is that we have the ability to put all these shows into our own Quasar Markets Live, and we do. You can watch Roxham TV live right in Quasar Markets, and you can see me on your show about once every other week, right? We try to bring the heat to the show, but you tell me a little bit about the future of Roxham.tv. What is it that you guys are looking to do to create to see the next level of Roxham TV?
Yeah, I think it's all about preparing for the media landscape of tomorrow. We've seen kind of how I mentioned a little bit how legacy media getting a little tired, and there's an innate distrust there. A lot of the same distrust that exists in the current financial systems with Bitcoiners. So we're trying to provide this alternative place for people to go and get the most up-to-date news on Bitcoin, crypto, world news, stay informed, and hopefully make it a little more fun than turning on Channel 7 at 9 o'clock and then learning about, what's going on in San Francisco or whatnot and the other. This is a global vision seen through a Bitcoin lens that we're providing, which is, I think, really unique to the space right now. So we're hoping to kind of capitalize on being the first mover to truly do that 24/7, and then also give people access to other parts of the world with news native to those regions. So like we have our London office that has several London hosts that are just amazing. Susie Violet Ward is great. I think Joe Nakamoto might be joining that particular office hub in London as well. And then we have Jemmy, who's our host in Hong Kong. So you're really getting a touch of each local flavor in the news from those different parts of the world. So no matter where you are, you can tune into Roxham, and there's going to be something there for you that speaks to you and and the people that you are in that type of the world. Because America, right? Like I'm maybe more of an American host, but Jemmy, she really does a great job of doing that for the Asian side of things in that part of the world, and then London, for their part. So it's just all working together and trying to find that secret sauce where there's something for everybody. And it's just a really exciting time right now.
Yeah, let's get to know you a little bit, Hank, outside of this, all of this comedy you guys do and Chicago and all that.
Right.
But I mean, Hank, you've got a pretty good following here. People love you on the show, and you're growing there. Tell me a little bit about some shows that you guys haven't been doing yet that maybe you might be doing here.
Yeah, we're actually at kind of a unique inflection point right now with Roxham. As when you're at any kind of startup, you got to be nimble and you got to be able to pivot based on the feedback that you're receiving. And we're constantly iterating to figure out what is it going to be next. So right now, what we can expect from Roxham TV is we're really doubling down on kind of creating this news hub that anybody can go to at any time. So if I were to go and see, oh, look, Kanye West just started a meme coin and it's doing this, which is affecting Bitcoin, you could turn on Roxham and there's a darn good chance that whoever is hosting right there is going to be covering that on their show, or maybe in real time as you're even thinking about it. And we want to really do a good job of giving people this option of, they want to know what's going on, this is the place to go. You don't got to go onto CNN or Fox News and get this kind of muddled take that is very much influenced by the backing of those companies. And we're bringing this non-biased perspective. Maybe Bitcoin is the only bias because we do try to see the world through that lens because we see how it's going. So we're trying to be kind of the news source for the next frontier, both financially and for world news, because we believe that Bitcoin, as the joke kind of goes, Bitcoin solves this. And this is just a lot of the problems we see here in the world with funding wars unnecessarily, printing money, devaluing money that you and I earn every day, but then they can just print more. I mean, we don't really believe that's a fair and equitable way for the world to progress. And we're hoping to be a foundational building block for this new world so that people can all start to slowly wrap their heads around it, because we know it takes time. This is a big
yeah. You're absolutely right, Hank. And I am very appreciative of my time on your show and what Roxham TV is actually doing. I've always complained about the world isn't really talking about the way that things are really happening, and that we're getting this filtered version of it. And Quasar Market is all about getting rid of the noise, shall we say. And you guys get right down to the brass tacks of it. And what's cool about it is a lot of the guests that you have are the people that are actually making real change. They're writing the codes. The blockchain report is your thing, right? And you must have some amazing people that you've interviewed. Who do you like that you interview, man, all the time?
I mean, one of the first big ones we have, and he's always going to have a place in my heart, was Anthony Scaramucci. He was just, I'd heard and read about him plenty. I knew who he was before, but he was just such a charismatic and thoughtful, and kind of like, some people are just kind of giving with their time and their energy. And he really kind of spoke to me in that version when we had him on. He was really great and fun, and he's everything everybody says and so much more in the best way. I've had Grant Cardone a couple of times. Really smart guy, super energy, really a lot of fun. You're one of my personal favorites too. And my mom she's like, I love that Big Beat. He just has such energy. So she's always telling me, when is Big Beat coming on? When is Big Beat? I'm like, told you, Mom, it's Mondays. And
that's so funny. Mooch is also a dear friend, and I really like. I love Mooch. It's the only one thing I ever want to do is hang out with him. You know, when I see him. And I'll tell you, you're right. Your mom, well, you know what? I'm a big fan of your mom too. Look, it's my friend Jay Woods, you know, from CNBC. His mom loves me too. Where's Big Beat? You know, but you know, when we bring the energy to your show, it's because of what we think the world should be, right? That it's not this big bad place where everybody hates each other, and the crypto world is not full of criminals. There are people just like us, Hank, and I think Roxanne does an amazing job of bringing that energy and people like ourselves that try to give of ourselves as well. And I really, really appreciate that. Hank, I think a lot of people here now know more about you. I've got a big following just like you do. So let's get it out there. Look, folks, if you want to hit him up, it's x.com/Roxanne.tv. Hank is also out there. You hit him up as well. One of the cool things I love about Hank is that he is giving of his time as well, just like Mooch and as well. But Hank, I can't wait to see you next week. We'll talk about some things about your life and about crypto, man. How about that?
I can't wait. And I just want to thank you so much for having me on Big Beat. It's always an absolute treat getting to spend time with you. And I'm glad to at least one time be able to repay the favor and jump on yours. And if you ever need me on again, just let me know. I'm happy to come on down.
Well, get ready because I will take you up on that offer, Hank. Until next time, Hank, we'll see you there, man.
We'll see you there. Cheers. Thanks, guys.